All right, so this is day 2 of documenting my experiences returning to the Gateway Experience. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Gateway Experience is a series of guided audios by the Monroe Institute that were then researched by the CIA. They're not affiliated. I know some people think that, which came to the famous publication of that paper describing how our reality is holographic in nature. So I did these a while ago and I thought to give them a go again to help navigate some life changes and bend reality to my will, because why not? What have I got to lose? So today I went back to the very beginning, did the orientation audio on wave 1. That was very interesting. Because yesterday I thought I would just pick up where I left off and ended up falling asleep, and that was very weird. But anyway, sometimes it's good to go back to the beginning, isn't it? Because we're always different people and we will respond to different things, not in the same way that we did once upon a time. So this was fascinating. The audio was about 30 minutes long. I did it not long after I got up in the morning, because for me, when I was working with this before, doing it in the morning was the best time for me, because I always end up quite awake and energized after it. So, makes sense. And there is a process that they call the state akin to sleep in different manifestation schools, where essentially like you're going into that zone where your body is asleep and the mind is awake. And I felt that, which is good. That's a very good manifestation technique or hack, if you will. And being guided into that process is very helpful, especially if you're someone who struggles to meditate or, struggles to kind of bring your mind and body to a state of calmness. During that process, I felt that like my body was not quite locked in, as if it was wearing like armor plating or something. But there was a very strong vision of what looked like a portal of pink light that was in front of me, and I could feel like my body just going, like the essence kind of like extending from beyond the body, which was cool because I like that sort of sensation, because I think it's important sometimes when you're going through difficult stuff that you recognize that you are more than your physical body. There is more out there, and you can get very boxed in, if you will. This was the result of some psychedelic assisted psychotherapy research I took part in years ago to deal with depression and various things, but I'll save that for another time. So yes, day 2, looking good stuff happening, and very interesting results so far. And the thing I find fascinating about this is I'm really interested in bridging, the kind of the research-based stuff and, the personal experiences and energetic practices and all these kinds of things. And then, of course, the hemisync thing is fantastic, particularly if you're, self-employed and you need to put more into each day to move forward than, say, someone would do who is working a regular job. So with all of that in hand, going into the day with more of a sense of focus is never a bad thing. Going into the day with more of a sense of clarity is never a bad thing. And then, doing it in a way that you're not borrowing energy from the future. Like if you, drink a big coffee, you're going to pay for it a bit later on in the day, aren't you? So there's various different things. And I think that it's interesting because people will talk about, yes, you go to your highest timeline or manifest your dreams, all this kind of things. But it's also important to think that those of us who are out there, working in service for various different things and trying to help create something better in the world by helping other people, we've got to think about how that sits in situ with everything else as well, because it's not just about what you can do for yourself, it's about what you can do for others. And a lot of the problems that we're having at the moment are because people are just focusing on themselves and not realizing that inevitably everything has a knock-on and it will affect you eventually. So I saw a really good quote that was, if you are envisaging a world where there has been fundamental and systemic change start living in that world already, embody it and operate as if it's already in existence. And I think that this is quite a good strategy, and also something that will be quite helpful to help you get into that, because where do you sit in all of that? You know, where are you putting yourself? Where are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your focus? And you might think, oh, well, this is just, you know, a meditation or something, or it's just, you know, a self-development practice. But ultimately, to varying degrees, we are all connected, you know, so we have to recognize that there will be that resonance between people, whether that is harmonious and draws you together, or discordant and pushes you apart. There is a resonance there, and you have to work with that accordingly, and you have to be sensitive to that, and you have to recognize how that interplays in your life, because the things that you will have taken on board, positive or negative, will ultimately dictate what you believe you can and cannot do. So on to the next one.